say hello to Survivor. She is called Survivor because she was on the brink of death, honestly. 2 years ago, we thought that she was out. However, she went from two dry leaves to right now, I'm counting eight eight leaves, and she's looking so healthy, loving the weather. So that's a little bit of a motivational story for you there. Even when it looks bleak and it looks like, you know what, there's no way of coming out of this hole, financially speaking, because this is a financial podcast, you can always get out of the situation. It takes patience, it takes time, it takes dedication and good intentions. Feed it the right things, give it the right environment, and hopefully you could survive as well, just like my lovely plant movie. Last week, I was looking for some inspiration and I reread The Psychology of Money. And it's really a great book because of the key lessons in kind of the behavior of people and the psychology essentially of money, and not just looking at it as ones and zeros, but instead looking at why people do what they do. I mean, it's really fascinating anyway to think, how are people motivated? Why are some people successful and others aren't? In the age of social media now, we see so many people that are flexing, so many people that are showing their wealth, they're investing in this, that, and the other, and they're talking about what they've achieved. So it makes you think, like, how did they achieve that at the same age as myself, probably had the same opportunities, and we start to compare each other. But I really like that this book goes into the detail of sometimes what people show and how people are perceived. Maybe they're in a certain job. It might not actually be the case if you look at, okay, let's have a look at your balance sheet. Let's have a look at what you actually own. What are your assets versus your liabilities, which are your debts? What's actually going on? So I really loved the book and the theme around it as well. So today we're going to be talking about the key lessons. And if you've read it, then please share what you learned about it. If you're going to go away and read it for yourself as well, come back to this episode and let's discuss. Welcome all to our financial wellness podcast, From Roots to Fruits, where we nurture our roots to grow more delicious fruits. I'm your host, Arlyne. Let's get started. One of the key themes is One of the key themes that Morgan highlights is that money success is more about behavior than it is about intelligence. He explores how a banker was then bankrupt in the 2008 crisis, even though they were widely regarded as really, really intelligent and they were really great at investing in the stock market. They own so many businesses, own so many houses and other assets. However, this banker had so much debt. And when the 2008 financial crisis happened, then this meant that they lost everything. They had too much debt that they could not pay off. If you have some assets and you can't liquidate them fast enough, especially if we are in an economic downturn, then you can't sell your property. When you have too much debt, it puts you at risk. And in the same chapter, he talks about this janitor in America who passed away, and it was found out that actually he had millions of pounds in the bank or millions of pounds invested, and his children inherited a lot of money. But this is someone who had a below minimum wage job and they managed to save up over time. So it's all about how you use your money. I recently did a workshop and the audience then asked, one of the questions was, well, what if I don't earn enough to save? What if I don't earn enough to start investing? How do I go about this? And my answer really, it was along the same lines, to say that it doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is what you do with the little or the most that you do earn. I remember when I was working full time as a finance manager and I was earning a lot, to be honest with you, more than my entire family. and this was amazing. I bought my own property. I bought my Mercedes Benz and all sorts, going on holidays, multiple holidays a year. I really felt like, okay, this is okay because I was also saving quite a lot. I had a lot in my ISA. I was also saving on the side. I was investing in Roots to Fruits at the time whilst I was working full time. So I felt like, okay, no, I've got enough to live a lavish lifestyle. I honestly feel like your attitude towards money changes when you're not earning as much. In the past 18 months, when I've been working on Roots to Fruits full time, I have taken a massive pay cut because I would rather reinvest in the business, and also just sometimes when you don't have that many kind of customers and or waiting for invoices to be paid, it means that some months I am living off of my savings. I'm not afraid to say that. And my attitude towards money has really changed. I used to think that I was, cost saving, I was frugal. However, just looking at my lifestyle back then compared to now, when I have to watch my pennies, when I have to actually look at where's every pound going, I have less leeway. And I think my attitude towards money had to change because I had less money now. And I'm going to take that going forward because now I'm starting to earn more. Thank God. It's not as hard as it was last year, but I am keeping the same practices as when I was earning less. So any surplus that I'm making in this new season, I am definitely putting it away. I'm paying off my debts and I'm saving a lot more now, more than I was when I was earning more. So I think it's all about the attitude. And I really love that that's the first theme of this book, that even if you're doing well with money, it has little to do with how smart you are. It's a lot to do with how you behave. Financial outcomes are often driven by patience, consistency, and discipline. It's not about your IQ. And you see this, especially when you see sometimes the leaders of the world, they're making certain decisions about finances, about the economy, and you just think, hold on, what is going on here? And it's all about behaviors, it's all about risk appetites as well, and it's all about people's attitudes towards spending and saving. Emotions like fear, greed, and ego can derail even the most rational financial plans. Something else that was mentioned in the book is that actually luck and risk play a bigger role than we actually think. And I really love that he goes into the detail of looking at the lives of CEOs and billionaires. One of the big names in the book is Bill Gates and his story for success. And it works out that actually he was so fortunate enough to go to a high school that had a computer at a really young age. Thankfully, he was someone that was really interested in computers. Him and his friends loved to play on computers, and they would dream about maybe one day having a large business. And it was the right place for them to be able to kind of utilize these skills, learn about computers. So they were fortunate enough to have that. But it's not just about that. Of course, you also have to work hard. They had to go and learn about computers and then dream big and then work at growing that dream as well. I think a key thing that was mentioned is the luck element of it. If Bill Gates was maybe born in a country where they didn't see computers for the next 20 years, would that have been possible? Absolutely not. And that's all about luck. And I think sometimes we really make ourselves feel bad if you'll notice that other people have maybe progressed faster than you have, and we don't know the kind of privileges that they have. We don't know the support systems that they might have. You don't know if they got a loan from somebody or if they live at home, therefore they're not paying rent. Some other people might live at home, but they're the ones that are paying the bills for the household. Maybe they have people that they're caring for as well, and all that money is going towards that. So we really need to think about our circumstances, and maybe luck plays a huge part in certain things. Thinking of myself as a female founder and a black female founder, then already the cards are stacked against me, especially if I'm looking for investment, if I'm looking for certain opportunities, what are the rooms that I'm in, and maybe it's the clients that I can attract, the clients that know about me as well, that might be referred to by my clients because of the proximity to certain people. It might mean that I do not have the access to maybe wealthier individuals that might invest in Roots to Fruits, or wealthier individuals that might be clients for Roots to Fruits as well. And also, there's that saying that you are kind of the sum product of the five people that you keep around you. So just keeping that at the top of my head in terms of, okay, who do I need to be around to be able to attract what I need to attract? I hope you're catching what I am doing. It is never too early to start planning for your retirement. And that's where our sponsor, PensionBee, comes in. PensionBee are on a mission to build pension confidence and create a world where everyone can enjoy a happy retirement. Whether you've moved around jobs a lot and are looking to consolidate your pension into one easy to manage plan, or you're self-employed looking for a flexible pension plan which allows you to contribute as much or as little as you like depending on your income. It's easy to sign up, and you can do this via the link in the show notes. So, what are you waiting for? Take control of your retirement today, and remember, when investing, your capital is at risk. But back to the book. I love how positive it is. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. I love that because sometimes we are so clouded by the current situation and we think that things might be more negative than they actually are, and sometimes things might be really good and then they turn and we're really impacted by that. So I really love this. And another thing that I wrote down is success and failure are influenced by factors beyond your control. Being in the right place at the right time truly does matter. I don't know if you have one of those stories where you have a friend that referred you to somebody else and then an opportunity happened for you. So I think this is really important as well, especially when you feel like you're not where you want to be. So don't judge yourself and others too harshly. And we need to stop glorifying the stories without context. Okay, the next theme of the book is the power of compounding. I have talked about compounding in episode 21, so check that out because it is real and it is something that we need to think about if you want to invest. And it's playing the long game. So, a quote: our minds are not built to handle the power of compounding. I think this is true and not true. I think we have truly understood compounding typically refers to the increasing value of an asset due to the interest earned on both the principal and the accumulated interest. So we need to think about this when we're investing. I really saw this in action when I invested and allowed my investments to just grow. I received dividends and then that amount added onto kind of my principal amount. The lesson here is small and consistent actions over time can lead to extraordinary results. And it's all about having the patience, actually investing and leaving it to grow. The next point is to stop chasing. Stop chasing more and know when enough is enough. And I think this book is quite old and it's truer and truer each year. Especially right now, there is a massive trend in fast fashion. There's a big trend in kind of keeping up with technology. We always have a new phone every year, a couple of years these days, but we have to keep up with so many trends. We've got smartwatches, we've got new shoes, new brands as well that we keep up with, fashion items. It's so much that we need to keep up with. And also, and not to mention, boo boos are out right now. What is it about the boo boos? I truly don't get it, but each to their own. I think they look scary, to be honest with you. It's not something that I want in my house. But a lot of people use it as a collector's item. Stanley cups. I mean, we can keep going on and on and on. But more doesn't actually mean more. And I think it's because we feel a need to fill something within ourselves and we can just never feel like it's enough. I'm not saying everybody. I think a lot of people really are content with what they have. But a lot of us, the masses, because as we know, Klarna recently have said that people cannot pay off their Klarna balances. And this is a problem. This is happening because we keep on consuming a lot and we're using debt to buy these items. So now more than ever, I think the lesson really rings true. We need to get a hold over our spending. And speaking of the workshop that I just hosted, one of the attendees, they wrote down one of their 12-month goals is to have a no spend July. And I really love this. It means that they're only going to spend on their essentials. They're not going to spend on anything that they do not need. So I loved that as a goal. The next theme, I had to be reminded of this, that wealth is more than what you actually see, is sometimes what you do not see. I mean, we've all heard of health is wealth. And if you've ever been sick and felt like, oh my God, I cannot move, or felt like I need to heal, and whether it is a small situation like a cold, through to big situations when you're hospitalized or when even a loved one is hospitalized, I'm sure you could give so much money just to get them to be healthy and well, or you could give away your finances if you feel like, I'm really ill, and I would give it away when I feel like my body is not in the right state. And I think sometimes we forget that having things and having money isn't true wealth. Being safe, of course, having a house that you feel that's warm, having food, obviously, having water clean, stuff clean, house clean, everything, having the transportation that takes you from A to B. If you have loved ones as well, making sure that they are looked after. Of course, these are the things that money buy you. But then back to the point before, if you feel like you need more money to buy more things to fill a void, then maybe that's not really what you should be looking towards. I'm not saying money isn't great. I love a holiday or two. I just mentioned that. And honestly, I would love to go away every so often. What gets that? Money. So I'm not trying to bring up the debate around kind of, does money make you happy? Although I think that's a good episode. I definitely would love to know if money makes you happy. But I do believe that money definitely buys you freedom. Money gets you things that make you feel secure, make you feel comfortable, and also could get you things that will make you happy. But there's a balance, I feel. I think there is a tipping point when actually maybe I've earned enough. It's not making me happier. And the quote that I wrote down is, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to actually have less money. Think about it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And the last point is, everyone has a different relationship with money. If you've ever kind of been in a relationship with a partner, or even looking at your parents, the way that they handled money, I'm sure one handles money in a different way to the other. And that kind of ties to how probably they were brought up and what's their relationship to money. If you've ever kind of looked at your siblings, if you have siblings, cousins, family members, friends as well, you'll notice that they have a different relationship to money. So people might do crazy things when it comes to money, and no one is crazy. I mean, recently looking at people that have fell into Ponzi schemes, and it's like, okay, how did you manage to get into that situation? And it's really easy to judge other people when you're not in their shoes and you haven't experienced life the way that they have. Or also other people when they manage to make really good investment decisions or really good kind of business led decisions, and you think, how did I manage to not do that? And it's like, we are on different journeys and we have different relationships to money. Like bring in your experience, your beliefs, they shape your financial choices. Hey, so I'm going to bring up another episode that I did called Happy Money. It was episode number 14, and we talk about the different relationships and attitudes to money. I really loved this book because I was kind of trying to place myself, and it was really interesting and in the same kind of field as the psychology of money as well. So I'll recommend for you to go and listen to that as well and let me know what you think about the Happy Money episode 14. Those were the lessons that I learned whilst I reread this book, and there's definitely more. There's definitely more themes in the book, and I'd love to learn what rang true for you. But for me, those were kind of the key things that are happening right now that I resonated with. But do read it for yourself. Hopefully, it might help you out, or maybe it might not be for you, but there's definitely a lot of books out there that teach you about kind of your behavior and your attitudes towards money, whether it relates to saving, investing, paying off debt, and also just kind of like managing your costs and your expenses as well. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. I just kind of recorded it. We do not have a script. And yeah, I really loved just kind of talking about how I felt about reading this book. If you have a book that you would recommend that I look into, read, and then also review, then I would love to hear from you too. But goodbye for now, and I'll speak to you next week. That is all for us today, guys. Join us next week for some more seeds to sow. And please remember to support us by following and leave a rating on our show on whichever platform you're listening to us from. To those watching on YouTube, please leave a like and a subscribe to our channel. All of your support goes a long way. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, keep shining.